Was good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in the building with another banger, man. So, as you can see by the looks of the title and the screen today, I got another very special build coming at y'all. Going to be called the two-way scoring machine. Over 100 badges on this point guard build, and also on top of all that, we're actually going to be able to get every single contact dunk on this build. So again, before we get any further, I really just gotta go ahead and say thank you, God, for giving me this opportunity. Thank y'all for your support. And man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Anybody looking to join the Rich Gang family RGF, go ahead and turn on post notifications as well as hit that like button. I would appreciate it if we can all go ahead and put in work and get 50 likes at least on this video. Be sure to share it with your family and friends. And now, let's go ahead and get into the making of this build. So, now we're going to go ahead and move on to the point guards. If you were paying attention, that is what we're making this build out of. Now, for a while, I have already brought y'all the centers, power forwards, even small forwards, and today I'm telling you, the point guards are going to be just as, if not even better, as the previous positions that we already went over. Now, when it comes down to the height, I'm going to go with 6'2". When it comes down to the weight, 174 is going to be perfect, and then when it comes down to the wingspan, be sure to go ahead and put this to 6'9". The height is perfect because that means we're going to be able to unlock the small contact dunks, and also on top of all that, all of the elite ones as well. So this build, I'm telling you, even though we're only 6'2", you're going to be able to do a lot of different things with this build, especially when it comes down to being all around. This is really going to be one of the best and perfect point guard builds that you're going to be seeing all year. So when it comes down to these stats, just please be sure to follow along exactly as I show y'all. From there, you can go ahead and change anything based on your preference, but I'm telling you, everything that goes into this build is really going to be a perfect make. So when it comes down to that close shot, I'm going to go with the 76. Driving layup, going to be an 83. And when it comes down to the driving dunk, I'm going to go ahead and put this to a 92. And we're going to be able to get 26 finishing badges. Right here, really solid. Let's go ahead and move on to the shooting now. So for that mid-range shot, I'm going to go with the 89. When it comes down to the three-pointer, I'm going to go ahead and put this to an 88. And as you can see right there, we actually get more shooting badges, being 31. And then when it comes down to that free throw, I'm going to put this to an 85. And as you can see, we're actually going to be able to get some really solid badges when it comes down to the shooting category. Some good Hall of Fame badges, but also we get a good amount of gold badges, which is going to make this build an even better all-around shooter. Now, let's go ahead and move on to the next category of stats. We're going to go ahead and get into the playmaking. So go ahead and skip over your pass accuracy for this specific build. Put your ball handle at an 89. And then when it comes down to the speed with the ball, we're actually going to go ahead and put this all the way to the max of being a 92. And right here, we're going to be able to get 23 playmaking badges. And also, when it comes down to the badges that we do unlock, you're going to be able to get some really nice badges out of this category as well. Now always remember, you can change anything of this setup based on your own preference as long as you feel comfortable with it. Let's go ahead and get into the defensive end now. I'm going to go with the perimeter defense of 89. When it comes down to that steal, I'm going to go ahead and put this to a 90. And then right here, this is pretty much the setup that we're going to be using when it comes down to the defensive end. You have to take a minor hit somewhere in order to maintain the physicals that we do want, especially to still get the contact dunks. That is going to be a huge thing about this build. So honestly, 20 badges is going to be just enough when it comes down to the defensive end. Right here, I'm going to go with the speed of 93, acceleration of 89. We're going to skip over the strength. Be sure to put that vertical all the way up to an 85. And when it comes down to the stamina, this is going to be a 90. Now, one tick left over for the vertical, but I'm just showing y'all what this build is going to be looking like pretty much when it's all said and done. The last tick, I'm going to go ahead and throw it on. It's going to be into the vertical just so we can get the small contact dunks. But with this build, you're able to finish at the rim. You're also really able to drive. The shooting is there. You get the pro dribble moves, and then the defense is still really solid with a high perimeter defense. And also, we will be able to get a takeover that is really going to help us in each of these areas. So remember, if you feel like changing anything based on your preference, just go ahead and do it now. But I'm telling you, this is absolutely the best way that you're going to be able to make this build. And remember, you're also getting a +4 from the rebirth build that you make, and also you get a +3 from each season that we have completed. We're in season 3 right now, so honestly, this is going to be a really crazy build if you completed the season and get the +7 badges in all. Really, this is going to be one of the best builds that you will see, I'm telling you, especially because of what the build comes with. Now for me, something that I always try to do when it comes down to making any kind of build is being sure that it's going to be very versatile as well as being able to be used in any game mode. That is why I tend to put up my free throw on pretty much every single build that I'm going to be bringing to y'all. And also when it comes down to the physicals, I always make sure these are going to be up to par as well, because I'm not going to bring y'all a build that is incomplete. I only want to bring y'all true 100% complete builds. And as you can see, this is easily one of those that you can see from. Now, if you wanted to, these takeovers are all based on your preference, but as you can see, we get the slashing, also going to be able to get the shot creating. This one is really going to be helpful, especially when it comes down to the shooting, but also breaking ankles. And then if we move on a little bit further, we're actually also going to be able to get the sharpshooting takeover. Now I'm telling you, the takeover that you pick is going to play a huge factor on the stats that you did decide to move about. I'm telling you that because look, whichever takeover you pick, you will be getting a +10 to that specific category. So you can go with the sharpshooting or even the lockdown one. Shot creating and the lockdown is something that I would really consider. Really, it's going to be helpful on the defensive end, so I would see why a lot of people would go with the lockdown takeover. But again, this is all based on your preference. This is your build that you're making. So I'm going to go with ankle breaking shots for the shot creating takeover. And then when it comes down to the second takeover, this is completely based on my own preference. So I'm going to go ahead and say I would go with enhanced jump shot contest or even extreme clamps. This is going to give us a +10 to our defensive stats, which is really going to be helpful. This is what I'm going with. And as y'all can see, we have made the first ever two-way scoring machine, over 100 badges, and also we're going to be able to get every single contact dunk that you're going to want in the game. But before we get any further, we got to go ahead and take a look at what this build is going to be looking like once you buy the +4 stats, run with the teammates that are going to be running floor general as well as defensive leader on Hall of Fame, as well as getting that +10 when our takeover is activated. So remember, this is all included in takeover. So if you decided to go with the defensive takeover, you're going to be able to get a 99 perimeter defense as well as a 99 steal. When it comes down to the playmaking, you're going to get a +8 here. So you're going to have a 99 speed with ball regardless. Ball handle is pretty much going to be somewhere around the high 90s. When it comes down to the shooting, you did pick the shot creating takeover if you followed along. So essentially, you'll be able to get a 99 mid-range shot, 99 three-pointer, as well as a 99 free throw. Then when it comes down to the finishing, if you decided to pick this takeover, you'll easily be able to get a close shot that's going to be in the 90s. But when it comes down to the driving layup as well as the driving dunk, both of these are going to hit 99. Now, I'm not going to hold y'all here much longer. Let's go ahead and get into the badge count as well as the setup that we're going to be running with. So I'm going to go ahead and start it off with Hall of Fame Limitless Takeoff. From there, I'm also going to go ahead and add in Fearless Finisher on Silver, Gold Posterizer, and then Hall of Fame Slithery Finisher. Now, for the last 6 badges, this really comes down to your own preference, but for me, I'm going to go with Unstrippable, and that is really going to be the best one that you can go about. Now let's go ahead and move on to the shooting badges. I'm going to go with Gold Blinders as well as Gold Deadeye. From there, I'm also going to go ahead and add in Green Machine on Bronze, and then for the last couple of badges, this comes down to what you want to do, but for me, I'm going to hit y'all with Gold Hot Zone Hunter as well as Mismatch Expert. Then when it comes down to the next one, I'm going to hit y'all with is going to be Silver Corner Specialist as well as Hall of Fame Sniper. Now, for the last 3 badges, this comes down to what you want to do, but for me, I have to say, I would go with Volume Shooter, Catch and Shoot, and then you could even go ahead and put on Clutch Shooter. All of these on bronze are really going to help out your shooting percentages, so honestly, that is just something that I would take into consideration if you're making this build exactly how I'm going about. So when it comes down to the playmaking side of things, I'm going to go with Gold Handles for days, Hall of Fame, quick first step, and then from here we have 13 more remaining badges. So I'm gonna go also with triple threat juke, but if you want to go ahead and switch it for now, you can go with gold quick chain and then also throw in hyperdrive. You cannot forget about one of the most important badges, that's going to be unpluckable. But if you want to go with bronze for this badge, you definitely can do so. Again, it just comes down to how your comfort level is and also what badges you like to run. For the very last one, I would go with either downhill or even you can go with glue hands. You actually do have some wealth in this category. If you want to change up the setup, you definitely can go about it that way as well. But now let's go ahead and get into the defensive end. I'm going to start it off with going with one of the best badges here, and that's going to be Hall of Fame Hustler. From there, I'm also going to go ahead and add in gold clamps, and then we got 11 more to work with. So you can spread the wealth if you want to go about it that way. For me, I'm going to say that pickpocket as well as even menace would be two badges that I would really consider. Now for the last 7, remember, you could even spread the wealth if you wanted to go about it that way. I like bronze tireless defender as well as interceptor. Then for the last 5 badges, like I said, just go based off your own preference. I'm going to go with menace on gold, and then for the very last one, this comes down to what you want to do, but I'm going to go with ball stripper, and this is a setup that I would be running. We're going to pretty much end it off with 23 playmaking badges. We get 20 defensive, 31 shooting, and then we get 26 finishing, y'all. This build, I'm telling you, gets all the contact dunks, pro dribble moves, and everything that you're going to want out of a point guard build. But I really just got to go ahead and say thank God for giving me this opportunity. Thank y'all for your support. I truly appreciate y'all. I love y'all and I thank y'all. So man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Anybody looking to join the Rich Gang family, RGF, go ahead and turn on post notifications as well as hit that like button. I would appreciate it if we can get at least 50 likes in this video. Be sure to share it with your family and friends. And last but not least, with all that being said, I got one last thing to say. Thank God and Rich out.